Okay. Hangout on air is on live. Can someone confirm we are streaming? Because last time that happened, we didn't stream for 15 minutes.
Are we on Alpha Geek Radio?
Gosh,
we're on Alpha Geek Radio. It's video streaming.
I'm definitely checking that out as a gift.
What is it called?
The Mr. Collection.
Oh, it is Stitch Fix. It's just a certain service.
It's like Stitch Fix. It's just okay. It looks like we're streaming.
Oh, but it's not by the same people.
No, different people.
How about the Mr. Collection?
There's only
that
one
just sends
song.
you a different Mr. album every week, which is the same album every time.
We're live.
Remixes of Kyrie eleison.
Exactly.
This is the German mix.
This is the Japanese import mix.
Must be Friday. Okay, y'all have a good show now here.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye, y'all.
By the way, I'm totally looking at that as a gift.
I should probably make the things go.
Darren,
I brought props.
Back.
Ooh, props. All right. I hope no one is offended by today's pre-roll that was sent to us by Rich from lovely Cleveland.
Oh.
I'll probably only play this one once just in case, but I think it's funny. Put a smile on my face. Here we go.
Do you hate nickels? Then you're a money bigot. But if you just want to get rid of them, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support and give them to Tom and Company one podcast at a time.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, November 19th. No, it's not Friday, November 20th, 2015. Who did that? Who thought they could Ron Burgundy me? Friday, November 20th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Someone changes it right there in the doc. Joining me today, Darren Kitchen is with us. How is it going at hack5.org, Darren Kitchen?
So many fun things going on over here. We're making the podcast. We're releasing the teaser videos. It's a good week.
It is. Same here. Good week. Having fun. Len Peralta's here to illustrate the episode. How's it going, Len?
It's going really, really well. I am excited, and hopefully today's image will be something that people will enjoy.
The introduction. Oh yeah. Because what?
Because I'm not one to make things that people don't enjoy, but we'll see.
You always top yourself somehow. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Lots of Cleveland illusions today for you, Rich. I'm sorry, Rich. I called you Rich because Rich from lovely Cleveland did our pre-roll. And I assume all people in Cleveland have the same name. Is that not?
You can call me Rich. I'm okay with that.
You're all called Rich.
I'll answer to Rich now.
He's Rich on the 19th.
We have another Cleveland delusion coming later in the episode. Stay tuned. It's a teaser to keep people interested. Nice. Stay tuned for the other Cleveland illusion.
One podcaster might not make it.
Here are the headlines. Some users of AdBlock Plus are reporting that Yahoo Mail gives them the following message when they try to access it. Uh-oh, we are unable to display Yahoo Mail. Please disable ad blocker to continue using Yahoo Mail. PC World asked Yahoo about this, and Yahoo said, this is a test we're running for a small number of Yahoo Mail users in the US to see if they hate not being able to get their mail, I guess. I added that last part.
I took this so much further, Tom, and I actually not only signed into Yahoo Mail, but I actually signed up for Yahoo Mail because I didn't have one of those. In Chrome, with images, cookies, and JavaScript disabled across the board, and I was able to, no problem. It nags you, and if you don't read it, it seems like, oh, I have to have, but there's a little link where you're like, okay, you can still get your 1990s era webmail on. So I wonder, if you just used the Yahoo Mail in that sense, is it still going to become an issue? And
you may not have run into the A/B testing that they're doing because it's not every person running ad blocker who gets the message. It's only a percentage of them.
Right, but I mean, if you disable images and JavaScript, you're not getting any ads anyway. So
if you turn off the browser.
No, but that's actually a serious tip for all the people, especially if you're like, I don't know, if you're from the US and you travel internationally and you're on like a data plan where you get like 3G with like 100 megs, disable JavaScript images and cookies. Maybe not cookies, but it'll make the web 10,000 times faster.
Do Privacy Badger for cookies. I highly recommend it because it only blocks cookies that it detects tracking you across multiple websites. So your login cookies, the cookies that are set by the domain you're visiting, are okay and aren't blocked. Whereas if you just turn off cookies, you can run into problems like that if you want to use those kind of cookies. But the cookies who are like trying to see if you're visiting other sites after Facebook and then give you ads, those are the ones that end up getting blocked.
Yeah, I use that plugin as well. It's good stuff. Cartoon Badger. Always
Yeah,
nice.
and plus you get to look at a little cartoon badger. He's got a nice little smile on his face. And you can go, wow, 30 cookies, Recode? Really? Okay.
And a dozen just in Google Docs.
Only 11 in my Google Doc right now. LG told Android police it is canceling the release of its Watch Urbane 2nd Edition LTE. LG said the cancellation stems from a hardware issue, which affects the day-to-day functionality of the device. And, quote, the decision was made to cancel the rollout of the Urbane 2nd Edition LTE due to the complicated nature of the issue. LG said it will decide at a later date whether the device will be available in the future, so we don't even know if they'll come out with it. They don't know whether they can fix this issue. And Darren, I know you were digging in a little to see if you could figure out what could be the problem here.
Yeah, there's definitely something fishy going on here. If you read through the comments on the Android Police story, one of the Android Police reviewers actually has this on his wrist. So clearly the device has been made. So at this point, though, the question is, like, what would be preventing it from entering the market? My first thought is maybe they just weren't granted one of the numerous certifications that you need to bring an LTE product to market. That stuff is crazy pants when you actually talk about getting a device certified not just by all the regulatory bodies, but the carriers to use their networks. They have to take your device around the United States, connecting it to various cell towers and making sure it doesn't blow up the world. And the other question is, well, did Google slap them with a large trout? Bearing it being something that just explodes on your wrist, I feel like I'm not buying it that it's just a technical issue that they found in QA at the end of the product pipeline.
Although one of those compliance issues where they thought, oh yeah, we just need to do a couple more tests and we'll be fine, and then they find an unexpected result, does sort of fit the behavior here. Although
the reason being, in the product development, you go full bore building it with the assumption that everything's going to pass with flying colors and that you're going to be out of the gate as soon as you check the box.
That's why you can send out your vendor review.
Don't get checked. You're not getting out the gate. Totally. I'm just saying, I don't know. It just sounds really fishy. I'm not buying it. I'm literally not buying it because it's not coming out.
Well, yeah, because you cannot buy it. Well, what would be the reason then for doing this? What that you would buy?
Oh wait, what's the reason that I would buy a smartwatch?
Yeah, what would be the excuse that you would buy?
Oh, well, because I wouldn't want to. Because Bluetooth. Because we can all agree that collectively that Bluetooth sucks and LTE is better.
Okay. The Samsung Gear VR started shipping today for $99, but that doesn't include the compatible Samsung phone, unless you already have one, or the noise-canceling headphones, which Recode says is something you're probably going to want because you want to really immerse yourself in there. Samsung Galaxy S6, S6 Edge, S6 Edge Plus, and the Galaxy Note 5 all work with the Gear, so if you already have one of those, you're part the way there. And it has Oculus software loaded with 360 videos, games, and Netflix. This is the first officially not beta shipping hardware for virtual reality-ish. No controls. It's just tilt controls, I guess. But you pre-ordered one, right, Darren?
Oh, yeah. Mine's on pre-order with B&H Photo. And I got an update this morning, just a couple hours ago, letting me know it's still out of stock.
Oh.
I can't wait for it. They're saying December 10th, but the fact that they're shipping a few early, hey, get the headlines while you can. Get people in on that pre-order. I'm excited for it. I never pre-ordered tech. This is one of these where I just want it as soon as humanly possible because I've been there, Tom. I've played with the innovator units, and we'll talk more about that. But I believe in the dream of VR. It's not just for the 90s. It's here.
And the dream of AR, as Volvo showed off its partnership with Microsoft to use HoloLens for something. The demo allowed journalists at the LA Auto Show to visit a virtual showroom, do things like customize a car with color and trim to be able to see what it would look like if they ordered it that way. Volvo says it will experiment with Microsoft in using HoloLens with customers next year, so you might find it in a Volvo showroom near you. Two companies are also working on autonomous cars together, says Volvo.
It's really cool tech. We'll save it for later.
Yeah, it's this is more of a hey, Volvo and Microsoft working on stuff. Might see a HoloLens if you visit their showroom and do some nifty things with it. But that's the tip of the iceberg. And Microsoft is out there already working with NASA with HoloLens, and they're going to let students at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland play around with these soon as well.
My son goes there.
See? Told you. There we go. Well, now you can stop listening. That was the other Cleveland illusion. But we'll bring it up again in the VR story. Vorrharl, lots of R's, wanted us to note the Tech Radar report that researchers at the University of Glasgow and the University of Turkey have teamed up and discovered yet another way to produce large sheets of graphene in a more cost-effective manner, which will someday lead to really long-lasting batteries. Graphene researchers are always hoping. The team created graphene on top of affordable, commercially available copper foils, and this saves them a lot of money. The foil sells for about $1 a square foot compared to the $115 a square foot for the copper that was currently being used for graphene production before this study. The research paper was published in Scientific Reports if you want to go read it.
Yeah, Tom, don't get too excited about this because, as we know, whenever newer and faster chips come out, OS vendors find a way to make the new version sluggish despite the higher clock speed. So
you're saying even after the years we will have to wait for this to become common, and then the week-long battery life will end up being 2 days because
when we finally get that week-long battery life, Tom, we're going to have operating system updates and app updates that make sure that they'll drain before 5 o'clock.
Yeah, probably
just as you get on BART.
Hey, people familiar with the matter? Do you know any?
I am familiar with the people familiar with the matter. That's one of my favorite blogs, in fact. It's a little
people familiar with the matter.com. Go check it out, folks. People familiar with the matter are telling Reuters now that Google wants to launch a Google Play Store in China sometime between February and early summer. The company hopes to use Alipay and WeChat payment systems integrated into the store. Google would not need approval from the Chinese government, but they would have to comply with Chinese laws on content filtering and store app data within the country. The store would be set up specifically for China as well and not be connected to other overseas versions of the Google Play Store. But this is a significant step, Darren. Google was very adamant that they did not want to go along with these things that were happening in China, and they were upset about what they assumed were Chinese-backed hackers trying to hack into Gmail, and they moved their operations to Hong Kong. Now, they still have a sales office in China. They didn't totally move out of the country, but this would be a move back towards saying, we're sorry, China, we do want the billions of dollars your consumers spend.
Yeah, see, they took the high road and it cost them. They partially pulled out of the China market in 2010, and at the time they had like a 12% share of the search market. Not great, but considering now it's like 1.7%. And like you said, yeah, it was claims of Chinese hackers, and it was the censorship. So it's interesting that they're going back now, and it's like, okay, well, we're cool with the censorship, I guess. Let's just like try to sell you some stuff because, I mean, I hear that Western export of movies and games does really well. Maybe more so than they will make in search. But then the question will become, like, what happens when the Play Store gets hacked?
Yeah, and I guess you can rationalize it if you're trying to be Google, which, by the way, my wife works for YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is owned by Alphabet. You could rationalize it as, I am giving a store to people in China to make apps and put their apps in the store. And so those people have to follow the rules of their country. So we're not really censoring. We're just you know what I mean? Like it's an argument that you could poke some holes in, but it's different than search, where you're saying, wait, this is a site that exists. You're telling me not to tell people that it exists. To set up a store that is operating only within China is to say, well, we'll only let people in China sell things that are legal in China. That makes sense.
Right. No, China's very familiar with the concept of the store. They, in fact, opened up their very own Apple store in recent years. It's a fake Apple store, but it's a store nonetheless.
There are real Apple stores in China.
Okay.
Don't confuse the people. Don't confuse the poor people, Darren.
I know.
Reuters reports the Federal Aviation Administration in the United States will submit recommendations for registering recreational drone operators on Saturday. The recommendations are expected to require drone operators to register through a website or a smartphone app if they own a craft that weighs 8.8 ounces or more. A registration number would need to be attached to the vehicle. The FAA will then then consider the recommendations after they're published on Saturday, allow for public comments, and then move towards an interim final rule to be developed for release next month. I love that we can have an interim final rule, but that's the way it works.
And you know what's going to happen after that is we're going to have the final rule. It'll be the final underscore 2B underscore
Well, and then we'll have the revised final rule.
Right. No, this is great. I'm so excited about this news, and here's why. 8.8 ounces is 250 grams, and I'm assuming they mean all up weight here, or if it is the battery, actually even better. And here's why. Given that we don't have a whole lot of choice in the matter, because they're going to take the public comments and they're going to take these recommendations from the industry and they're going to just kind of like let it make hot love that brings us regulation. So that's kind of just already going to happen. But see, here's where it gets cool. In the last couple of years, there has been an amazing sport. FPV racing has come up, and these racing classes have so far been measured. The 250 class is the biggest, but it's not 250 grams. It's actually 250 millimeters rotor to rotor, so it's just like a quadcopter about this big usually. Well, when that scene boomed, we saw huge innovation, lighter parts, cheaper parts, smaller parts that have now enabled an entire new class, a subclass of this multi-rotor racing industry that is the sub 180 millimeter FPV class, and it's becoming more and more common. They're so much lighter. So, like for example, this is a 180 class, which probably isn't going to do anything to a commercial aircraft if it hits it, but it wouldn't because I'm not stupid and won't fly it in airspace. But this is only 240 grams, and it gets even better when you look at the even smaller ones. I think this is 110 millimeter, and it's only 93 grams. So we already have the technology now, and it's only going to get better because of this. So if anything, I just feel like if this exemption is true, we're going to see a hell of a lot more demand and innovation in that department, and that's going to benefit the whole model community as a whole. Despite my typical unhappiness with regulation. But that's just what I like the fact that it's going to legitimize the sport, and I like the fact that it's going to create innovation, and I still should say for the record, screw those noobs flying DJI Phantoms over airports that are ruining it for all of us. That notwithstanding, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, A, this encourages lighter, faster quadcopters and such to be made, and B, it seems like a reasonable requirement? Right?
I still hate the concept of registering in a federal database to have any sort of fun, but if they always make an exemption where you can have this much fun without registering, then I'll go play over there. And in all honesty, I prefer the smaller quads anyway. So for me personally, I just think this is good for innovation. And I mean, like you look at the commercial drone regulations that are proposed, they're all talking about, there's a classification that the FAA uses that is under 55 pounds. 55 pounds in metric is like a ton.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight.
It is 1,500 grams.
Fast Company reports New Balance, the shoemaker, announced a running shoe model that incorporates a 3D printed elastomer-made midsole. They'll sell a few in 2016 and hope to allow customers to customize printed midsoles in 2017. 3D printing allows more flexibility in design and less waste of materials because you don't pour a mold and then cut off a bunch of it. You can precisely print what you want. There's also the promise of customization to say like, hey, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that as the customer. However, 3D printing is still costlier for shoemakers and slower than traditional methods. The New Balance shoe will be available as a limited edition collection in April in Boston. But I think it's fascinating to watch this aspect of 3D printing. They've been making spike holders for athletes where they go and they customize these particularly for the weight, the size, and the foot shape of particular athletes. And they can't do that for everybody. They can't scale that to everybody. But that's led to competition where now New Balance is going to be the first one to sell these at retail and say, hey, you know what? These are going to be customized to you. Maybe these don't make sense in price or customization advantage to the general consumer, but style is going to make people want to buy these so they can say they bought one, and that's going to help New Balance refine it and maybe get us to the point where they're cheap enough to make and fast enough to print that we can revolutionize shoes. So you could walk in and someday say like, here's my foot, print me a shoe.
Yeah, no, it is very exciting. First, real quick correction: it's 25,000 grams, not 2,500 grams for 55 pounds. Because I know we're going to get a lot of email, but no, I'm very excited about this. It is freaking sweet to think that in the future you'll be able to walk into a shoe store, have your foot like laser scanned, and then have a specific insole for you 3D printed on the spot. And that's going to happen. There's nothing stopping that. If you look at the evolution of 3D printers, they're getting so much easier to use, so much less expensive. I'm saying this is great for everybody. Bring back bespoke.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I want to watch this. And if you read this Fast Company article, Nike, New Balance, a bunch of companies are in a race to be the first to make this happen. And New Balance is going to be the first to go to retail.
Those are lifestyle brands, and they have to sell you on that. This is your shoe, you know? And so the first to market with this is going to do really well. And anybody that doesn't have this going forward, oh, you're wearing a pair of Reeboks? Yeah, that's that guy's Reeboks and that guy's Reebok. But you're wearing the same shoe everyone else is.
Yeah.
You know?
And high school track now will be more competitive. I don't know. Sony confirmed to Wired Thursday that it is working on using PS2 emulation to bring PS2 games to the PS4. Eurogamer's Digital Foundry reports that the classic Star Wars PS2 titles included as a bonus in one of the Star Wars Battlefront bundles uses emulation. They're not ports of the games, and that's how Wired decided to go and ask Sony about it. And Sony's like, yeah, we don't have a lot to say about it, but that's what we're working on. Yeah.
Yes, this is pretty cool. I must say, it's been working for the PS1 at least. I've been playing the original Tomb Raider on the PlayStation TV, and that's an emulation, and that thing's only using an ARM processor. So this is totally possible. In fact, there's a kind of like early beta version of a PS2 emulator for Android that was kind of launched back in July that looks pretty good. So there's no reason why they couldn't, and they definitely should, because if the Wii market has showed you anything, people will rebuy stuff they bought years and years ago just for the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, and the Xbox One just got limited backwards compatibility to Xbox 360 games, so it's kind of one of those check marks on the box, right?
Don't let them play the disc. Charge them for it, even though they own the disc.
And that, oh, by the way, though, and I think in the Xbox One, if you bought it, you can still get it without having to pay for it again.
That's cool.
And that's a look at the headlines. Hey, folks, submit your stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. That's what lets us try to pronounce names like vorrharl or Habichuela con dulce. And you could just have a more easily pronounceable name and still submit stories and vote on them. It helps us create the lineup. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Get in there and join the 5,000 people already helping make the lineup every day. All right, we heard about Samsung Gear VR shipping. We heard about Volvo using HoloLens. The VR, this is the beginning of VR. VR is shipping to people today. For real, not a developer edition, not a piece of cardboard, no offense intended, like a real made thing from Oculus in partnership with Samsung is shipping today, which made Darren and I wonder, well, shoot, man, in a year from now, there's going to be all kinds of VR. We're all, for all intents and purposes, going to have a chance to have VR in our homes if we want. What are we going to use it for, Darren?
Oh, man, we are going to, well, the first thing we're going to use it for, actually, is to talk about VR. Just like telephone comes out, people use the telephone to call other people on the telephone and talk about how great the telephone is.
Can you believe we're talking on this telephone?
No, I joke, but that's, you look at the early adoption of podcasting. It's mostly tech podcasts talking about how cool podcasting is. This happens with all of the new technologies. I'm also really excited because this is not something like came out of left field. We've been promised this since the 90s, but in the same sense that, oh yeah, we totally had computers in the 50s, and we totally had the internet in the 70s, except, not really. So this is like, you're right in that it's the first like consumer, like I go and buy it off the shelf and I'm like in it like that in this modern day and age, where I can just take my Note 5, which I specifically bought just for this reason. But yeah, I do believe that the first thing that we're going to do is ooh and ah at the few demos that there are available, and yeah, that'll be phase one.
Yeah, what will be the hilarious and amazing startups though that try to take advantage of it? Because the other thing,
that's
Darren,
what's going to happen. It's like the web, right? When the web first came out, everybody is like, "Oh, we're going to sell pet food," but on the web, we're going to advertise to dogs, but on the web.
We're going to deliver your groceries
So great.
through the web in our vans. So that's one of the things that already I can see being a differentiator, which is when I put on that virtual reality helmet, and I can't remember, I think it was Ari Kesseldahl who wrote the Recode review of the Gear VR. But when I put that thing on, no, it's Kurt Wagner, sorry, I am alone.
Yep.
So I think there's going to be, obviously there's going to be a lot of demos allowing you to explore worlds, right? To wander around in worlds and play games and do things like that. I think one of the first waves we might see are ways to communicate with other VR helmet folks. We're going to see attempts to make the metaverse.
Oh,
to
yeah.
go out
No.
there and play. And Stanford's folks in Second Life are already on this. They're already positioning themselves to provide one of those worlds.
Yeah, World of Warcraft would be a totally different experience if you could do it in VR. And mind you, though, we had this ability with VRML to interact with other VR agents in over the web before, but it was kind of crappy. And it's so immersive. I've tried this. I must say, like, I'm a firm believer in this. I ran into the Oculus guys at Showstoppers, no less, at CES before anybody knew who they were. I tried out the demo with TF2. They were just some gamers way before Facebook. Now that this is coming to the consumer market, it's very exciting because it has the potential to be like a new web all over again, where if you have an existing established property where you're really good at selling movie tickets or whatever it is that you currently do on the web, and you don't have the ability, kind of like with mobile, you didn't get an app, you didn't get on board that, you'll face the same thing with VR once somebody cracks that and makes it ubiquitous, where if I can't shop for movie tickets in VR, oh, wait, I have to take my goggles off to get the movie tickets? No way.
It sounds ridiculous. Like, why do I need VR to shop for movie tickets? You don't need VR to shop for movie tickets. Listen to what Darren just said. You want to be able to buy the tickets without having to take the helmet off.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly it. So I'm just imagining that, if anything, this will open up a huge opportunity for a lot of startups to upsurp a bunch of existing established brands. Like, imagine if Fandango didn't get on the app bandwagon, get an app out when it was hot. If they don't get a VR app out when it's hot, then somebody else could go, like, hey, you're in your little, metaverse, and you want to go see a movie with your honey later, but, you don't want to take the goggles off, obviously, right? So it's right there. It's why do you buy Domino's Pizza in WoW? Because you type /pizza.
Yeah, I think that's why social networking and communication, instant messaging, one of those is going to be a hotbed, because Twitter is not going to be on top of this, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some guy at Twitter laughing his ass off at me right now saying, I've got the perfect Twitter port for VR. But I think a lot of people are going to rush in and say, hey, we're the social network native to VR that allows you to use the capabilities of VR to their best advantage. We haven't really seen a hot, good social network recently. Well, they're very mature.
That'll actually, interestingly, be the nut to crack to get VR into the mainstream, in the same way that, like, the internet wasn't mainstream until you could, the two pillars of the internet, aside from the epicness that goes on Reddit all day long, but for the mainstream, I'm talking about shopping and social networking. And so, until those two pillars exist for VR, it may not go mainstream. So let's hope, and let's be thankful, in fact, that a social networking company like Facebook bought Oculus, because otherwise we may not have the ubiquity that is required, the chicken before the egg, so that we could even have those cool esoteric projects, those open source VR worlds that you and I will be building, like Minecraft.
Pinterest.
Oh, yeah. See, this is the thing. You're doing it right now. So some guy did this in the 90s. They were like, Pinterest, like magazine clippings, but
Instagram.
on the web. Oh, let me throw money at you.
Yeah, totally. And I know, before we get off this topic, that you are a fan of the quadcopters, of the unmanned aerial vehicles.
Yes.
And you can do some pretty cool video recording with those. Can these two worlds intersect at all?
Yeah, I've seen this firsthand. It's pretty amazing. I will say that essentially, what's really beautiful about specifically the Gear VR edition of this is that you can sit in a chair and spin around 360 and not have to worry about a wire. Granted, the Oculus Rift is going to come out in Q1. It may have a wire. I'll probably still get that too anyway, just for video gaming. But as far as that's really important, though. Being able to sit and spin in a chair 360 without getting tangled up in wires is really important because I'm talking about this sport of FPV quadcopter racing, and what it essentially looks like is you put on a pair of goggles, and they're not as cool as Oculus, but they're okay, and you can see through the camera that's in the quadcopter, and when you take off and you start, banking around the turns and competing in a slalom course with other quadcopter racers, you feel like you are that craft. Your brain is actually telling you when you pitch to the left that you're pitching to the left, which is why you sit down, because otherwise your body will actually react and start pitching to the left.
And I'd probably throw up.
Weirdest thing, but it happens. VR is fun. And so it's a really immersive experience, and you feel like you're pod racing or something. But there's a huge barrier to entry to this amazing sport. First of all, it's all hobbyist grade stuff right now, so everybody's building their own. It takes hours of fine-tuning and testing and soldering and mathematics and software to make these things fly and work. And then once you do all of that, you actually have to be a damn good pilot as well. So you have to have hours and hours of experience flying them even without the goggles before you can start doing that. But if there's a commercial version of this that allows you to just imagine, instead of the complicated controller, a Mode 2 Spectrum, imagine the left stick is throttle and you've got your ailerons and rudder and all that stuff to worry about. If all you have to do is imagine a quadcopter with a 360-degree camera, and it can see in all of those fields of view simultaneously, and you getting that video stream beamed down to your Oculus goggles can just look around, and I want to go that way. I just look that way. And the quadcopter turns, and it would be an X configuration of the quadcopter because there's no front to it. It's not you're going forward or backward relative to the craft. You just look where you want to go. So the control scheme in that sense becomes just a button for go, and maybe a button for stop or let go for stop, but whatever it is, that would totally take this to the mainstream.
Yeah, some kind of pressure-sensitive button so that you can adjust the speed maybe. But it totally simplifies things.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen tech demo. I've seen experimentation in this direction, and I've had the unique opportunity to be a part of that in some ways. And there's no anyway, it's going to change the world.
Yeah.
I've put on the Rift and I've looked around from a quadcopter's perspective.
You can fly.
Because I want to be a bird, Tom. Because I want to leave. Because while virtual reality is really cool in that you build a completely different world that you leave this world and go into, and that's really what it is when you put those goggles on. And while augmented reality is cool in that we add stuff to the existing reality, there's this weird hybrid that is flying these quadcopters where it's like VR, except you're in reality.
Yeah, fly through the real world. That's crazy.
There's that one's amazing.
Our pick of the day comes from Jeremy, who, after listening to us talk about Black Friday and deals on yesterday's show, thought he'd share a site. It's a good site. It's not shite. That I've been using for about a year to help me with Amazon purchases, says Jeremy. It's at camelcamelcamel.com, and you can use it to search Amazon or put an Amazon URL directly in it, and it'll set up a watch on that item. You can specify a desired price for the item, and it will notify you when that price is reached. When I have things that I'm interested in, but I don't need it immediately, I throw it up on Camel. I believe that it gets some of its money via Amazon affiliate links on the items, but I think that's a good trade-off for the service. Saved me some money, and I thought I'd pass it along. camelcamelcamel.com. Thank you, Jeremy. Send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. A couple more Black Friday emails in regards to yesterday's show. Mink said, I'm with you on Black Friday deals, and I liked your discussion on them, but I'm surprised you didn't mention snubs, since she's all about getting deals when shopping. Maybe it just slipped your mind, or maybe there was some reason for it. No, it's totally forgot. I asked because...
her?
What's that?
Did you snub the snubs?
I did not mean to snub the snubs and her amazing couponing. I asked because she immediately came to mind when that question came up. So yeah, I know she used to put up a lot of coupon stuff on Instagram, and then she separated that out. But just go follow her on Twitter, Shannon Morse, and you talk about a girl who likes a deal. That woman likes a deal, and she's good at finding them too. Did not mean the snubs. The snubs. Then finally, on DTNS 2628, listener Hans Stoppable asked where the best deals for Black Friday are located. Tom and Justin pointed out that most deals are shams, but the staff at Wirecutter/Sweet Home do the work of finding actually good deals on actually good products. They're picky. Since November 1st, they've looked at 18,000 plus deals and have only deemed 127 of those to be good enough to feature. But I look at Wirecutter weekly and check them out on Black Friday. So go to thesweethome.com/deals or thewirecutter.com/deals if you too would like to take a look at this. And I must have cut off the person's name who sent this in. But it was a D8UV. Thank you for sending that in. That's a good point. If you want to save the time, just go to thewirecutter.com or thesweethome.com/deals and let them do the hard work of sifting through the BS for you. Thank you for sending that. And thank you, Darren, for joining us. Hack 5 stuff. What's going on?
Oh, man, we've got a great episode on hack5.org right now, all about brute forcing radio, doing a bunch of hacking stuff with it. It's really fun. We're kind of on a radio kick right now because the Mike Osmond's Yardstick 1 gadget came out, and it allows you to do sub-1 gigahertz hacking. So we're kind of like all over that because it's like we're now moving into this world of Internet of Things where everything is Zigbee and Bluetooth LE and stuff like that and Z-Wave, but there's still all of these devices that were wireless before, and if we're right now in the Internet of Things, you can think of the previous generation of like the dial-up of things, and they're all super hackable. So learn all about hacking your garage door remote and your key fob and your light switches over at hak5.org.
And follow on Twitter, twitter.com/HAK5Darren, Hack5Darren.
Thank you.
Len Peralta has been drawing the future.
Yes, I have been. And you asked some pretty interesting questions, and it was very fascinating to hear what you think VR is going to be used for. Here's what I think what VR is going to be used for. I think it's going to be used for producing this very show we're listening to, this very podcast we're listening to, Daily Tech News Show. And that is what the image I've done. That, it's everybody, including myself, wearing these VR helmets.
Like
Darren
Roger's
asking
glasses.
Roger has the glasses on top of his VR helmet. I think it's Daily Tech News Show, November 20th, 2016. You think you're all shiny for some reason.
Yeah, because in my avatar, I probably am just
right.
made of stars.
Darren doesn't want to take off his helmet. And Jenny and Roger are asking, what is produce? We'll see what happens with that.
I like that they have tablets in their hands, too, for some reason.
Yeah, that's just crazy. They needed some tech there. They needed some tech.
Yeah, this is what the video show will look like a year from now, folks.
Exactly.
Well,
All of us with
there'll be
helmets
two
on.
versions, right? There'll be, if you're in Azeroth with us, you can experience that in VR. But as a video viewer on the YouTube, you'll just see us with helmets.
Live from the Undercity.
This is what you're going to see if you turn into the video show in a year from now. That's what I think.
That is excellent. I like that you also drew my brand new shirt from the Mr. Collection.
Yes, actually, I did that on purpose. I wanted to make sure that I got that in there because that's very important, and I think that's a great tip.
This is excellent. LenPeraltaStore.com, folks. Go take a look, not just at this, but all the stuff that Len draws is amazing, and it's worth your time to go check it out.
Also, as you mentioned Black Friday. Black Friday is coming up. There's all kinds of great stuff, gift ideas, prints, including the Daily Tech News Show Instant Art Collection version 1 and 2 is in there, as well as some really cool DTNS stuff. So
yeah, if you haven't seen the Force Awakens poster,
that's in there too. It makes a great gift. So check it out.
All right, folks, LenPeraltaStore.com, and of course, thank you for being a patron of the show in some way. Patreon.com, searching for Daily Tech News Show and finding us that way. Going to dailytechnewsshow.com/support, giving us $1 on PayPal, or buying one of those beautiful new DTNS mugs. I know a lot of you have been picking those up. Thank you. I hope you enjoy them. I think they're pretty amazing. So you make this show possible. You're the reason it exists. If you get value out of it, we just ask that you give a little value back. dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. Visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back on Monday with Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Why does that keep turning itself down? I don't know.
That's weird.
It's a weird soundboard glitch.
Len, that art is hilariously amazing.
Oh,
So
thank
good. So good.
Thank you. It worked out pretty well because I was thinking this is what we're going to be using it for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
What would our show look like inside a virtual reality?
You're always so good with the little details, like having Roger's glasses.
Well, we would obviously all be avatars.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And on griffins.
That's part
I
two.
could be 25 feet tall.
Ooh,
I'd
you
be
know
on
what's
a
actually really
wyvern,
exciting
personally.
about the
I
future
fly
of
a horde.
VR and watching DTNS there is that not only will we be avatars, but the viewers will be able to select from a number of themes. And our skeletal interactions will just, if they want us to be lizard people, we'll be lizard people. At a certain Patreon level, you actually get to choose, you unlock the lizard level.
They turn us into razor tusks, and during the middle of the show, somebody on a quest kills 10 of us to,
Oh
get
my
10
God.
gold.
Oh, man.
I'm with you, Tom. I think if I ever put this thing on, I would throw up all over the place. I think, we're getting past the age of,
You'd be
being
surprised. They're not going to tell
I
you
get
try.
sick on a teacup ride at Cedar Point. So
That's a
only
vicious
imagine
ride,
what's gonna
though.
happen.
Let's be honest.
it is.
No.
Yeah.
What are we going to call this show while
Oh, I
Roger
have
chases
suggestions.
Ellie around the ring?
Google plays by China's rules, or what's in store for Google in China.
Here's my foot, print me a shoe.
I like that.
Get the shoe around your foot.
I like P.S. Sony is bringing 2 to the 4.
I like that one too.
Here's my foot. Print me a shoe is great.
Virtual reality is now reality.
Oh, I like Tinvex VR. Huh, what is it good for?
Yeah, but do you know how often we use that
Come on.
construction?
It's a chestnut for a reason.
But I'm just saying, I think we've used
they're called
it.
chestnuts? I thought they were snow clones.
Then ICU has a great Michael Jackson one, which is VR are not alone. Let's see.
That one definitely helps with the singing.
Yeah. Virtually ubiquitous. Facebook attaches to your face.
That was pretty good.
That's good.
I'm going to have to take off because I am going downtown. By the way, if anybody is listening is in the Cleveland area, and if you're a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, you may want to head out to Negative Space tonight. I will be there with Frank Conniff and Trace Beaulieu.
Oh, nice.
As they riff
Wow.
Glenn or Glenda tonight, I believe. Tomorrow night they'll be there as well. If you can't make it tonight, they're going to be riffing Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, wow.
And
Classic.
you can also get the original poster I created just for the show, which is really cool. So I'm heading out there right now to go eat dinner with
Well,
them.
tell them I
Have
say hello.
fun.
Yeah, please do. If you're a Mystery Science Theater fan, you deserve to come out. And if you're in Cleveland, this is a rare moment when they're here. So
Hello,
please come out.
Cleveland.
Keep circulating yourself to that
Yeah,
event.
excellent. Yeah. All right, cool. And then I will see you. Oh wait, there's no show next week.
Correct, because of
Right.
the Black Friday holiday where Americans mourn their shopping. We will not be on.
It's time to go after the waffle irons, people.
We will be doing a headlines only show next week.
All of us will be tearing after waffle irons and
Yeah.
tearing each other's sweatpants off. It's going to be a great day.
No, I will be.
Starting at 3 a.m., tearing your sweatpants off. All right. Thanks for the tip, Tom. That was really excellent. This I'm going to check out a little more in depth. I think I got a winner of a gift here. This subscription service, the clothing subscription.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I hope that serves you well.
I think that's going to be a great gift. So
Awesome.
All right. Take care,
All right.
guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
If only there were a subscription service for ugly Christmas vests and sweaters.
Oh.
Just around the holiday times.
You can
Yeah.
buy those everywhere now.
But if you could subscribe to one
And
in
then
a
they just
VR
sent you
app-
one once a year, and then you send it back, and then they send you another one for next year.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It should be a rental service because
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to own it anyway. You
Right.
send it back in January,
And they just wash it.
and then they send you a new one next November.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I mean, there's not a lot of room for growth. You're only
No,
going to
but
make
you've
revenue
gotta
once
fix-
a year.
Here's the thing. You're right. I guess not really much of the subscription once a year.
By the way, I'm going
Ellie
with
almost walking. By the way, did you see that while this was all going on?
no, because I'm editing. I'm not seeing.
Almost
I'm missing her
walking.
first steps, Jenny.
Almost.
Mm.
I know. Can you imagine if Ellie walks for the first time on this show live? It would be like the Truman Show.
You know, I've never
Roger's
watched
like,
that
"Too
movie
close."
all the way through. I have never seen that movie all the way through.
Here's my foot. Print me a shoe is the title, by the way.
Okay, good.
You know, that could actually, if this really catches on, it could, kids in the future won't understand the Cinderella story at all. Like, wait, why didn't she just go down to Foot Locker and get a new one printed?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's like me saying, like, oh, when I heard that story, why didn't they just phone a policeman to help them out?
No, it was just sarcasm. But yeah, you're right. So many things could be ruined by cell phones.
I don't think a pump could really become a carriage.
It's like, why do they use a boat? Why don't they just call a cab?
Why
didn't she-
Cinderella in the modern age. And the Uber came, and it was orange.
Wait,
Um,
wouldn't that be Lyft?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes, programming notes. Spread the word. Headline shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
ooh, Wednesday too? That's great news.
Well, I'll tell Scott that soon.
Okay. You want me to tell Scott?
Sure.
Okay, I'll tell him.
That would be great. I will see him in a couple hours, but yeah.
What?
Go ahead and tell him. What? Kurt Geek.
Oh, right. I thought you meant in person.
Oh, I wish.
Like, that would be cool.
I can't tell the difference anymore, Jenny.
Because between Hangouts and in person,
Yeah.
you see,
VR is just going to make it
it
worse.
can totally do it.
Yeah.
Scott, Tom, I can't tell the difference between you guys now either. Tom Merritt, are you going to plug the craziness out of the thing? Wait, Tom just went away.
I have no idea what you're saying.
You know. What's the thing you have to plug on Current Geek?
Oh, the box. Yeah.
Yep.
You're so funny. I tweeted that yesterday,
I
right?
know. Okay,
So-
there's a Current Geek subscription box. And Tom's going to plug it on
Jenny
Current
likes to make me figure out little puzzles. I think that's what's going on here. Frogpants.greatjoy.com. Yeah, no, it's in the lineup.
Okay, good. All right. Scott.
We're doing merchandising, Darren.
Ooh.
I'll let you know how it goes, and if you want to pick up some tips from us.
Thanks. No, I'm actually. Len was talking about his Black Friday promotions, and I was thinking to myself, I hope stuff shows up before Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you and Brian both
Oh,
are in Black Friday land right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
you know what I say? We just create our own holiday. We call it Black. 2 days before you can actually get something on your doorstep before Christmas Eve if you choose one night overnight shipping.
That's a good day. I like
That's
it. It's
gonna
catchy.
be the name of
Catchy.
the night.
Yeah.
It's going to be December 20th, and it will be a big holiday. And
I like
I'm
it.
going to leave it there.
That's usually the only day I pay attention to in holiday shopping. It's like, oh, will it ship in time? Good.
Yeah. Also, 0XC and EEF 5204D6A. With that, I should also run.
Okay.
We're receiving freight here soon, so
Mr.
I'll
Hex.
go help out.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks,
Happy
Darren.
Thanksgiving.
Bye. See you in a couple weeks.
Look at Ellie, man. She's so close.
So close, and yet so far.
You'd think she's doing it if you didn't see Roger's hands.
Yeah, she's wobbling. She's still trying to figure out that those legs can stay put.
It is. If she can lean against something, she'll move across. She can walk across it, like hold. But man, she will crawl. She will not crawl. She hates being on.
I like the idea that 10 years ago we'll be like, hey, remember that time a baby grew up on our show?
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, but back then it was pretty unusual.
Yeah, guys, we had a baby grow
That
up
was
on
before it was common.
So I had a creepy idea that for the first 9 years of her life, I would take a photo of her face every day and do one of those.
much
Video
energy.
montage? Yeah.
Too much.
Are you doing it?
But it would be was creepy.
No, you decided it was creepy?
Don't you think it's creepy?
Well, we're getting a picture of her every day if you want to catch up. You know, missing weekends, but
keep going until she's 30, and so you can see this transition of 30 years. How creepy would that be?
That'd be amazing. That'd be like, that could help science.
That would be amazing.
Oh, that was the time she had an accident on her bicycle. No bicycles for you until you can walk.
I'm trying to upload as fast as I can.
Hey, what do you call that toy that's a bouncy toy that you sit on? It has like a little neck that you...
Bouncy ball. I just always call it a bouncy ball.
An exercise ball?
No, they have a little handle. They have a little rubber handle.
And you would bounce like up and down. You're supposed to ride it like a bike, but you bounce.
You'd sit on top, you'd hold the handle, and then you just bounce around. And then your dad would throw you in the air.
Oh. I have a trampoline.
Those things are fun, but they look dangerous.
Here. Trampoline, look.
Ian says, keeping it creepy for science. The things we do for science.
It's true. Science does some pretty creepy stuff.
It has to.
Oh,
Science.
look, here's a time lapse. Ooh, gosh. There's audio.
It reminds me of that guy who taped an interview with himself, separated by 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Have you seen that?
Is that where he asks his questions to his older self?
Yeah, and then he taped his answers.
I screwed up, man. I really screwed up.
He kind of hates himself for being.
Oh my God, this guy really did it for 10 years.
Oh, pictures of himself?
No, his kid. The Beatmaster sent the link.
Thank you,
Kind of
if you can think of it, it exists on the internet. It's
almost
100% true.
I want someone to make a Chairman Mao themed casino restaurant. Has that been, oh wait, that probably has been done in China. Damn. Oh, it's a hopper ball. Chairman Chang's Happy Lucky Fun Time Casino. Happy Lucky Big Fun Time Casino. That was my idea at Tech TV, to make it rich.
Oh, open a casino?
Chairman Mao themed casino.
Oh.
And like the buffet line would be the great buffet forward or something. The Great Wall or something. And then like every afternoon at 3 p.m. I would be carried aloft on one of those sedans carried by like 4 people each corner, as I would carry money bags into the Jade Vault. And that would be like the accumulated like prize money each day. You know, if no one wins super jackpot, it just builds. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, that's one way to do it. That would be something.
I was thinking, oh, maybe I could do an expansion water park. The Great Slide Downward.
All right. We are done. We will make way on Diamond Club for amazing stuff more happening.
Yeah.
But do check out Current Geek and the frogpants.cratejoy.com. Do check out Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars, which went up yesterday for Revenge of the Sith. I'm so excited to do episode 4 next. It's so fun. And talk to you tomorrow.